If you don't know who your business exists to serve, you can't build trust. You can't build a loyal community where people come back again and again and again because they know you know them. Hey everyone, and welcome to Business Bootcamp. I'm Christy, Wright, best-selling author, certified business coach, keynote speaker, but most of all, your bossy big sister, here to give you the practical steps you want and the tough love truth you need to succeed. Let's dive in. Now today, we are talking about who your business exists to serve. And you may know who this is, or you may not. Let me give you an example. So a few years ago, I was scrolling Instagram and I came across this post that made me laugh, y'all. I just have to use this as an example here. So the post was very simple. This was from an account that was a business account serving other business owners, women-owned businesses, small businesses, busy moms, and so on. And so very similar to you, I'm sure, is who their target audience is. And the post was an image with one quote next to it. Okay, the image was of a plant, this like really beautiful plant. And to the side, it said, "Take care of yourself like you take care of your plants." Okay, let's just pause right there, shall we? Do you have plants? How they looking? Probably not great. Probably not great if you have them at all. If you have them, they are dead. They are neglected. They haven't had water in weeks. Like, you buy new plants in hopes that you're going to be a new person that's a plant person that takes care of plants, but then that plant goes to the same destiny all the other plants have gone to, the plant graveyard. My husband has even said when we've gone through Lowe's and I get to browsing the plants, I'm like, "Ooh, wouldn't this freshen up our living room?" Oh, just the fresh life, the vibrancy, like the idea of real plants is so appealing to me, never stops being appealing to me. And I'll walk by and he'll literally start to say things in the background as if he's the plants talking. No, don't pick me. No. Because he knows where they're going. Same destiny all other plants go in my house. They go to die. They go to die, y'all. So this business account puts out a business post with a picture of a plant that says, "Take care of yourself like you take care of your plants." Okay. Missed the mark on that one. Every single comment was exactly what I expected. Well, I would be dead. Well, if I took care of myself like my plants, I would not have a chance. I am dead. I would be dead. The plants are dead. I am now dead. On and on and on. And everybody is laughing face emojis, dead face emojis, all the things. That account clearly did not know their audience. Maybe that account, whoever runs that account, they are a plant person and they take care of their plants and they take pride in their plants and they trim their plants, they prune their plants, they have them in the right lighting, they know the right type of soil, they water them. Most of their audience does not. Most of them are busy business owners that the last thing on their mind is taking care of their plant. If they've got a plant, it's freaking fake, y'all. These behind me, they're fake. The ones in my house, they're fake. I can't keep things alive. I got 3 kids and a dog. That's enough for me. That's enough lives to be responsible for. I don't need plants. And so what made me laugh so much about this post is just how much they didn't know their audience. And the reality is, if we're not careful, we'll do the same thing. We will post things that don't connect. We will use stories that don't relate. We will speak to them in a way that does not build trust, does not make them like us, doesn't make them want to do business with us. And we just miss the mark. We don't mean to, of course. We think we're doing a good job. But if you don't know who you're talking to, you can't talk to them. If you don't know who your business exists to serve, like really know them, you can't connect with them. You can't serve them. You can't build trust. You can't build a loyal community where people come back again and again and again because they know you and they know you know them. So here's what you need to do. You need to get to know your customer so well that they feel like your best friends. You need to get to know your customer so well that they feel like from your copy, from your content, from your podcast, from your landing pages, from your emails, from everything you put out on Instagram and Facebook, they need to feel like y'all are best friends. And that only happens by you taking the time to get to know them. In fact, if you're listening to this show right now, you are my people. You are in my community. You are in my tribe. You're listening to my podcast. You might already be on my email list. You might follow me on social media, on Instagram or Facebook. You are my people. And if you feel like I know you, it's because I do. It's because I have done this. It's because I have taken the time to get to know you, how you think, how you feel, what you want, what you don't, what you like, what you don't. And believe it or not, it's really freaking easy to get to know you because you and I are so much the same. So much of business is putting your heart out in the world of who you are, but also connecting with people that are like you and need what you have to offer. But you need to take the time to actually intentionally get to know your customer so that you can connect with them, so that you can serve them, so that you can create products and services for them that cure their pain points, solve their problems, and meet their needs. So let's talk about how to do that. How do you get to know your customer? Well, if you have been in business a while, you probably have a lot of data to work with. You may have customer service emails, you may have feedback on social media, you have past clients, you have a lot of knowledge from being in business that you can pull from, okay? If you're new in business, you're going to dream this person up. If you're just getting started in business, maybe your business has been in business less than 6 months or a year, you're going to dream them up. You're going to imagine them. Okay, so we're going to do an exercise in this episode where you are going to create a persona. A persona is really just a description of your ideal customer. Your ideal customer. Not any customer, not the fringe customers, not a wide variety of customers, but your ideal customer. Who is the perfect person for your business? Who is the perfect customer? Like you're going to make them up, so you totally can imagine them. You can dream them up, anything about them you want to. The perfect person is, and you're going to write this down. In fact, if you need help with this, you can go to christywright.com/persona and you can use my persona template to fill in this worksheet as we go through this episode, okay? I'm going to do a flyover for this episode, but you can actually get in the weeds with this template if you want to download that. Or you can use a journal, a notebook, a sticky note, whatever you want, but we're going to write this down. So let's go through this exercise. Who is your ideal customer? Who is the perfect person for your business? The perfect person that needs what you have to offer, that can pay the price you're charging or the prices you should be charging. Who is that perfect person that they have the problems you're solving, they feel like you feel, they need what you have to offer? Who is that person? First, let's just go ahead and give that person a name, okay? I'm going to use Jane for this episode. You can name her whatever you want to. Amy, Rebecca, Sarah, Michelle, Mildred, whatever you want, okay? Pick a name. You're going to name this person. Now, I know what you're thinking if you've been in business for more than a year or two. You're thinking, can I have multiple ones? Yes, you can, but let's just do one for this episode. And you can go back and do this exercise again and again for each of your personas. Yes, you can have multiple personas. I'll get to that in a minute, but let's start with just one. So one person, one ideal customer, one name, Jane. So I'm going to use Jane for this episode. I'm going to ask you some questions that you're going to answer about your Jane. And as we go through, I'm going to give you an example of a real persona I had when I started my speaking business a little over a year ago. So I started creating courses for speakers and coaching for training people in speaking and presenting. So since I was new in business, like maybe you are, I had to imagine this person. I'd never done it before. I didn't have any track record or history or data or past clients. So I was able to imagine who the perfect ideal customer was for my new speaking business. And I created a persona around her. So I'll use that example as we go for my speaking business and my Stop Winging It course. So let's keep going with your persona, your Jane, okay? How old is she? Is she married? Does she have kids? How old are her kids if she has kids? We're making this up, by the way. You're like, I don't know. Does she have kids? Some have 3, some have 5. Don't get in the weeds. Just make something up. Just make something up. What are the ages of her kids? Probably. Where does she shop? How does she think? How does she feel? What does she need? What are some problems that she has that you solve through your business? Take that a step further. How does she talk about the problems that she has that you solve with your business? How does she describe her problems? What does she want? What are her dreams, goals, aspirations? What are her desires? What are her fears and worries? What keeps her up at night? Where does she live? Especially if you have a retail storefront, a brick and mortar store, then your area is going to be important. Your geographic location, your neighborhood, your city, your state. If you're online, maybe it's just wide open. What are her habits? What are her hobbies? What are other brands that she follows? What are other influencers that she follows? Or he, if you have a male persona. You begin to imagine this person. It's just one person, but they represent the ideal customer. They represent your entire audience. Now, let's say that you make someone up, and I'm going to go from memory here. I don't know that this is exact, but with Stop Winging It, my speaking course, it was Jane. She was 40 years old. She's a corporate executive. She gets booked to speak all the time. She does not plan to make speaking her main career. The money that she makes from keynote presentations is just bonus money. She wants to get paid and likes getting paid, but she's not trying to be a full-time speaker. But she gets booked all the time and she doesn't know what she's doing. She has too many ideas. She has tons of great content, but doesn't know how to organize it. So she needs help organizing a keynote presentation. She's confident, but she's totally winging it. That's why I named my course, Stop Winging It. So she has a lot of opportunity and she has the income from her corporate job to be able to afford a $1,500 course, which is how much my course is. She has the money to afford one-on-one coaching. She has the money to afford, and she's willing to invest in herself to get better at this thing that she's already doing. And she's not really caught up in like, are my speaking fees gonna be able to provide my full-time income because she's got her corporate job? That's her main thing. But she speaks on the side because she's just really good. She has a lot of knowledge. She's an expert in her field. She probably has a nanny. She probably has meal delivery service. She is willing to invest money into things that are gonna make her life easier. Do you see how I just imagined her? I did not have a single client at the time that I did this exercise with Jane. I wrote out who my ideal customer was for this price point course, for this price point coaching, for this particular product and service that I'm offering. This is my ideal customer. What is that for you? Who is your Jane? What does she do? How does she think? How does she feel? Why does she need you? Why does she need your products? Why does she need your services? How does she talk? What are the phrases that she uses? What are the movies that she watches, or he? Build this out, write this out. Again, if you're using the persona template from christywright.com/persona, this will give you fields to fill out, and it goes much more in depth of every individual thing to think about. But if you're using a notebook, just write out everything you can think of this person. Every single thing that you can think of as you imagine the ideal, perfect person for your business. If you've been in business for a while, you can pull from what you know of your customers and create a persona that reflects that. Now, if you have been in business for a while, you may have 2 to 3 personas. Don't get carried away. You don't need 10 personas. 10 personas is too much. You can't keep that straight. But you might have 2 to 3. Maybe you have different personas for different lines of your business, or maybe you have different personas that reflect different audiences that come to your business. So after I had been in business for a year with my speaking business, I did this exercise again. This is an exercise you should do regularly, at least once a year, because your audience is changing, your business is changing, you're for sure adding to your products and services. So you want to constantly do this exercise so that you are in touch with who is showing up in your business. So I did this exercise when I started business. I had Jane. Here's my one ideal client, my perfect persona. I built my business based on that. Everything reflected Jane. I wrote to Jane, created products and services for Jane, priced for Jane. A year later, Christina Murphy, who I had hired as my business manager, she and I were working on the fall launch plans. And I got to give her credit because she said, we need to do the ideal customer exercise again. I was like, you're right, we do. I got some of those big white sticky notes on my wall and I started to map it out. And what came out of me completely effortlessly was 3 personas. I had gone from one persona when I didn't know anything and hadn't even started my business to 3 very distinct personas. One persona was my business owner. Let's call her Amy. This woman has a business. She is very successful in her business and she speaks all the time on reels, on podcasts, in seminars and networking events. She's speaking all the time, but she does not identify as a speaker. She doesn't think of herself as a speaker. If you said, Amy, are you a speaker? She'd go, oh no, I'm not a speaker. I own a business. She does not identify with the word speaker or speaking, but she speaks all the time representing her business to the world. Through marketing, through networking, and so on. That's Amy. Amy is my business owner persona. I have a second persona. Let's call her Rebecca. Rebecca is my faith-based follower. Rebecca loves the Lord. She is a dedicated Christian. She wants to follow God's call on her life. She wants to obey his leading. And he has been nudging her and urging her to speak more, to speak up, to speak in front of others, to lead Bible studies, to speak in her church, to lead on Instagram, to speak and preach even on social media and different podcasts and so on. And she does not consider herself a speaker at all, but she wants to obey the Lord. She loves Jesus and she wants to obey the Lord, but she does not identify as a speaker. She does not feel cut out to be a speaker. She does not feel qualified to be a speaker. There's nothing about speaking that is appealing to her or relates to her, but she really wants to do what God is calling her to do. And there seems to be a pattern in her life of speaking, of standing up and speaking up. That is Rebecca. Then my third persona, let's call her Sarah. Sarah wants to be a speaker. Like she has a dream of being a professional keynote speaker. She wants to be on big stages, get paid big money, and she wants to make a career as a professional speaker. That is what she wants to do. That is her main thing. So I began to write out these 3 different personas on giant sticky notes on my wall, and I named them. And I've got Amy and Rebecca and Sarah. And then I wrote percentages next to these personas of what percentage of my speaking audience I believed were these different personas. Amy, the business owner that doesn't identify as a speaker, 40%. Rebecca, my faith-based follower that loves the Lord, but also does not identify as a speaker, 40%. Then you've got Sarah, 20%. I stood back from my wall, y'all, and I saw these 3 different personas, aside from the fact that it was incredibly helpful to see these are the 3 different types of people showing up to my speaking courses. It made me realize I'm missing the mark as well. All of my marketing, all of my content, all of my email says, be a speaker, learn to speak and present. Let me help you with my speaking course, my speaker training, speaker. And 80% of my audience does not identify as a speaker. They would benefit from this course. They might even have the money to invest in this course or the coaching, but they don't identify with the word speaker. That moment changed everything about my marketing from then forward. Everything about the language that I use, everything about the way that I position the speaking course. It's no longer speaker training, it's speaking course. And I unpack this of when you're talking in front of people. I use a lot of when you're talking in front of groups, when you have opportunities to present, when you get put on the spot, I describe the circumstances these 2 audiences find themselves in all the time to connect with them so that they understand this is for them. If I hadn't done this exercise, I would still be saying, come to my speaker training, speaker. And 80% of my ideal customers, of my potential clients are going, oh, that's not me. No, that's not me. I'm running a business. No, that's not me. I'm obeying God. No, that's not me. And it absolutely is for them. See, when you do this exercise, whether you're just getting started in business and you're imagining your ideal client for the first time, like I did when I started, or you've been in business a while and you now have 2 or 3 personas where you can see accurately the different audiences showing up to your business. When you do this, you know who your business exists to serve. And then guess what? Every other decision in your business is easier. Everything. What to talk about, how to talk to them, how to relate to them, how to connect with them, how to write emails to them, what products and services to create next, because you're going to do that for that ideal customer, that persona. So you write emails to your Jane or your Amy. If I were to write an email to my Amy or my Sarah or my Rebecca, I would write them differently. I would appeal to them differently because Rebecca's mindset is very different than Amy's mindset. They both need the same course, but they're going to connect to that course very differently. So when you understand your customer, everything you say, everything you create, everything you do is informed by who you're doing it for. And it's no longer, I've just got to be everything to everyone, which means, of course, you connect with no one. You know exactly who you're talking to. You're talking to Jane or Amy, depending on how many personas you have. So you write your emails for Jane, you connect with Jane in your podcast, you connect with Jane on social media. Everything is for this one specific persona. And here's what's beautiful, y'all. Of course, you are going to have thousands of people show up to your business that are not exactly Jane. They're not 40 years old. They don't have exactly 2 kids in high school. They don't shop at Target. Fine. But having a persona gives direction. This is like a compass for your business. It's like this is your true north. You're going to pull in people that are 38 and 45, maybe 60, maybe 19. Maybe some have older kids. Maybe some have 5 kids. Maybe some have no kids. You will pull in a wide range of people, but giving focus to your voice and your content and your messaging and your branding allows those people to feel seen, allows those people to feel known, where you begin to speak to them so specifically that they feel like you're talking directly to them. They feel like you're best friends. And when you do that, you get people to know you, like you, and trust you, which qualifies them to buy from you, which means they can get help by you. When you do that, it builds trust and real relationship between you and your tribe. In fact, this is one of the reasons that I am so weird about how I use ChatGPT, like we talked about recently, because I don't ever want to put out a single email that doesn't sound like me. I don't want to put out a single email that does not sound like it's exactly Christy talking directly to you, because the trust that I've built over the last decade of doing this work with my audience is so important to me. I never want to break trust. I never want to say something that doesn't sound like me or doesn't connect with them, but I've got to know them. I've got to know you. And so when you take the time to do this in your business, it will make all of your marketing, all of your decision-making so much easier, because you're not trying to speak to everyone, you're speaking to Jane. And you're not trying to wonder what everyone is thinking. You're just dreaming up and working through what Jane is thinking. This is going to help you in more ways than you can possibly imagine. You're no longer paralyzed by options of what to do and what to say and what to write, because you're going to do and say and write exactly what Jane would want. And you're not going to post on Instagram, take care of yourself like you take care of your plant, because you know that plant is dead, y'all. That plant is dead. Know your audience. Know your customer. Know them so well that they feel like your best friends. When you do this, when you take the time to get to know them so well that you feel like they're best friends, y'all, you will create loyal repeat customers that not only talk about your business to their friends and support your business and promote your business for you through word of mouth marketing, they are there for you. And what's amazing is they will stick with you. They will stick with you maybe even when you up and leave everything after 12 years and do something completely new. They will stick with you even then. I want to take this opportunity to just say thank you. Thank you for sticking with me through the Business Boutique days, through the Christy Wright Show, through Get Your Hopes Up, and now Business Boot Camp, through my speaker training, and now my business coaching and my Goal Getters Club, through all of my transitions, all of my following on this wild goose chase that God has me on. Thank you for staying with me, because it turns out over time, when you show up for people and you're vulnerable and honest and you get to know them and what they need and what they want, it turns out that they're not just customers. They are friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with me. And thank you for being my friend. All right, y'all, that's it for this week's episode of Business Boot Camp. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast channel so you never miss a new episode. And please share this show on social media so other people can get the help and hope that they need as well. And then tune in here next week for another new episode of Business Boot Camp. I'm Christy Wright, and I'll see you next time.